Hello everyone, it's Marie from Skeletorama again. Welcome back to my channel. Give it a house shift. How is everybody doing? I'm doing all right. So I am continuing to work on the Mad Scientist lab in the Mad Scientist mansion because it's it's kind of sad that that was the least fiddled about with room in the whole thing when it's kind of supposed to be the focus. But 601. So I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do miniature-wise. I do still have to do the, I want to try to do the secretary out of wood. So that is coming. I haven't forgotten about that. But I was catching up on some videos, and I came across one that was done by the Gothic Unicorn, and I will link her below, and it's for a crate. Now, she made the crates, and then she made kind of this really cool crate furniture, like when you're in college and you don't have enough money for your bookshelves and you use milk crates or you use whatever, similar to that. But it was for a project that she was working on, and I'm like, oh my god, that's perfect, because I also got some new kits and I'm very excited about these. Now this one will be getting its own video. This is the retro stove. These are from Bentley House Minis, and I finally got around to getting one of her kits, because even though she has a video on how to make this and you can download the pattern for it, we've seen how well I measure things, right? So let's just don't do that with the measuring things. So this way it's all, she's got the laser cutter, it's all cut out, and look at this. This is the coolest. See that? That is included so that you can wipe off the soot from the pieces. Now how great is that? And instructions. Oh, thank God, instructions. Plus, of course, there's a video so I can watch that. And I will, because otherwise I'm going to break something. But along with that, I got this. So this one is lock and keys, right? And so you make these little 3D locks. And of course, again, you have some wonderful instructions here. And I was like, what would be kind of cool? And once I saw the Gothic Unicorns video, it kind of clicked. We have the work table, so I took it out of the mansion. This is the work table, and this is the one that the machines sit on and stuff. But underneath it, I don't have anything, right? And you know that this guy, we've seen his desk in the last video, right? So it's obviously not a neat freak. So he's going to have stuff piled under here, right? But what are you going to pile? I can only pile so many papers before I have carpal tunnel or something. And I thought, how about a crate under here? And that would take up a good bit of space. Not going to be all of it, obviously, but take up a good bit of space. And this crate would have, chain around it, basically. So I do have, again, with jewelry making, I have oodles of chain. So I've got this right here. So this is kind of almost like a stainless steel sort of chain here. And I've also got this one. This is black, and this is like a plastic coated, feels like. Either way, what we can do is we can add a rust texture to this before we put it on the piece, just so it looks kind of cool and old and whatnot. And then to kind of, you've got your crate and you've got a lock. Well, you've got to have some sort of loops for this, right? So you can always use jump rings. These are tiny. These are way too tiny. But just to give you kind of an example, jump rings tend to be sort of skinny, right? I thought, I can use chain. So when you get chain like this and chain like this, what you may not realize is that you can take it apart at any spot, right? And put it back together. That's how you'd make something longer or shorter or what have you. And so I do have some pieces of chain that were left over from other things. So this one here and this one here, these are real similar, except this is kind of more of an antiqued finish. It's a little rougher. We have this here as well. And then I have this, which is called Rollo chain. And it's usually a circle, and they're going to be really wide. Hold that up for you there. It's a specific type of chain, and these would look perfect as the little like latch things that maybe the chain goes through or hooks onto somehow, or the lock goes through. I don't know. I don't know what we're doing yet. I know we're going to make a box, and I'm going to hope for the best. But I think it'll be really fun, and it'll be a great way to use this kit here. And then it's got the little keys as well. So I would have a couple other locks that I can make. So we'll make either one or all three of them at the same time. We'll see. And then definitely the keys, because the keys can go on, some sort of piece of chain business or whatever, and they can go on the desk. So they can sit like right there on the desk. And then maybe this crate is like, I don't know, some kind of, you know, horrible experiment gone wrong, or, you know, who knows, but it's whatever it is, it's dangerous enough or valuable enough that needs to be locked up. So I thought, okay, well, how would I mark that on there? And you would think with the ridiculous amount of Tim Holtz stamps that I have, I would have some that would pertain, and they don't. And I'm like, really? So, but I do have these, which are the remnant rubs. And so this does have a couple things that, I mean, might be useful, like you've got to handle with care, you know, and that sort of stuff. I mean, we can find some way to mark it up. It doesn't have to be marked up, really. You know, it can say danger. I don't know. We'll figure it out as we go along. But yeah, I thought this might be a way to do the outside, because I don't think I have a stencil. None of my stencils would be small enough for it. And of course, I'll be thinking as we're going along. But anyways, so what we're going to do is we are going to, Tuesday morning. If you get a chance, if you love Tim Holtz stuff, keep an eye on Tuesday morning, because that stuff will show up every once in a while. When it does, really good price. All right, so what are we going to use for this? Well, we're going to use the same thing that the Gothic Unicorn used in her video, and it is craft sticks. These things are dirt cheap. Yeah, of course they're rounded at the end, but I mean, big deal. We can cut them, and these would make perfect, and they did, because hers looked absolutely gorgeous. These make perfect crates, and it's a really good scale. You know, it's not like, say, you know, if we have something this wide, this may not necessarily be, you know, the right size. That may be a little too big, right? This is a good size for a crate. So we're going to use these, and we may use some of the, believe me, I've got plenty of trim. This is just one box of it. This is all like sticks, right? Or matchsticks, or dowels, or skewers, or whatever. So this is just one box. I have a bigger one. So plenty of material to play with. And then I finally did, after watching Ara at Bentley House Minis, which is where this kit comes from. And I'm not sure if I said, but I will definitely put the link to her website in the description area, because not only does she have all these great kits, and she does have another channel, so I'll link that as well, that has basically tutorials for all of the kits and how to do them. And she just came out with a 12th scale and is it 24 scale? A full scale and half scale room box, which are great and sold out, I want to say that day, which I'm not at all surprised. But yeah, so all kinds of fun stuff over there. She uses these, so this is an easy cutter. And what this does is it's got this big thick blade, and it's got your stuff here, and you do have to remember how to how to open it. I can never remember. Oh yeah, is this turn? All right, nice. This may take a minute. Okay, yeah, there we go. Jeez, it's childproof. That's why I couldn't open it. And then this will turn. So if you need a specific angle, if you're mitering something, you know, you pop it over to a 45-degree angle, and boom, every time, and it cuts through these really, really, really well. So that is what we're going to use to cut our little wood pieces. And then we'll probably stain them. I have some different wood stains. And as you can see from the table, I like darker stains like cherry, mahogany. It's true in real life. I like darker woods like cherry, mahogany, those sorts of things that are nice and rich in color. But I did get a couple of them. I've got a classic oak and a golden pecan that, you know, I put them on and I'm like, did I put stain on? Is this working? What the, you know, so it'll be nice and light and it'll help protect it. But so we can add stain to that if we like. Because even though, you know, crates are like pallets, they're made from unfinished wood, you're not going to put a bunch of work into finishing a crate necessarily, unless, you know, you're going to sell it for a crazy price at Pottery Barn or something, other ridiculous place like that. You know, so it doesn't necessarily need to be finished, but I think it would look better if it was, you know, just kind of, yeah. So that's what we're going to do. So I will straighten some of this stuff up. And thank you so much to the viewer who had mentioned the chapters, which I did ostensibly think about that at some point, but, you know, it's like, oh, hey, chapters would be great. I figured out how to do it. So the last video, I was able to do chapters. So, you know, this way what we'll do, we're going to do it in segments. Of course, we're going to do the lock and key kit. We're going to do the crate itself. We're going to age the chain. and then we're going to put it all together. So this way you can skip to a part, or if you're going to make one for yourself and you're up to a certain point, you're like, okay, how did the chain stuff work? Yeah, you can hop to wherever you want. So neat, neat, neat. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to straighten this stuff up, and I will be right back with you, and we will do something first. Probably the lock and key stuff. All right, so I've moved it in a little bit closer to hopefully make it easier for y'all to see. So first thing we're going to work on are the little locks and the little keys. So this kit here that she has on her site, it makes 3 different locks, and then each lock has 2 identical keys that goes with it. So I learned a long time ago when I used to do model cars back when I was a kid. And the very first one I did, I pulled all the pieces off of the plastic. Yeah, that was brilliant. So, and I think that was even a model plane, which I'm not good at on a good day. So that ended up being a plane wreck when I was done with it, because yeah, that was just not happening. But so what we're going to do is we are going to do this first one here. So I'm going to separate it from its little friends, put those over here. And incidentally, you know, when you get the kit, it comes with the lightweight chipboard. Hang on to this because it's free craft supplies, right? So I'll be hanging on to that. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to use PVA glue. Now the way she did it, she had it on a little card with a toothpick, which, you know, works great. But this has a little fine needle tip, so it'll work okay for these, I think. And then she had a great tip with the toothpick, you know, in order to, because these are very small pieces, you're going to want to pick them up and glue them together, is to use a, you know, wipe the glue off the toothpick. It's still sticky enough. You can use that to pick it up and place the thing on top of there. I have a jewel picker, so this is sticky enough. Yeah, it's like, no, I'm not. It's sticky enough to pick up the small ones. If this particular one doesn't work, I have this one as well. So these work great for that sort of thing. So I'm going to do each piece and glue them together, and I'm not going to, you know, cut them out until I'm supposed to, etc., etc. So these are held on by, there's like one little tab where it's still connected, and these are done out of like a cardstock. So it should be super easy to cut. So we're going to start with piece number 1, and we're just going to cut the pieces free of their little cardstock prison here. Ta-ta! There we go. And we're going to set this to the side. Okay, so we have our pieces. We're going to get this ready, and I'm going to test it out first to avoid any kind of frustration. Yeah, see, it picks it up just fine. I can sit it on top of there. Okay, perfect. I thought it would, but you never know. Usually when I go to use something, you know, that's when my craft supplies mutiny. So, all right, so I'm going to hold this, and I'm going to put a little bit of glue on here and completely cover it. Not with a ton of glue, obviously, because I don't want to warp it, but so we've got this here, and so now I'm going to take this, I'm going to pick it up, and I'm going to put it right on top of its little friend. And now I've got both of them picked up. I can make sure that they're aligned. You want these things to be as perfectly aligned as you can get them, because, you know, obviously that's what's going to make your piece look the best. And did I? No, but that's okay. It wouldn't be one of my videos if I didn't botch something right off the bat. Okay. It'll be a little easier to see on these ones because they've got the lock stuff. So this is our first piece. And again, apologies for the hand thing, but with anemia, it takes a really long time for bruises to heal. So it's going to be there for a minute. But it's already, I don't know if it's looking better or worse, honestly. I mean, when you look at it, you can't see it as good as you can in the camera. Because I saw it on when I was doing my other video yesterday, I think, or day before, and I was like, whoa, what is, oh yeah, that looks hideous. Okay, so now we've got these 3, and we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to pick a corner and hold it, and so this one you're going to do, obviously, the 3 layers on top of each other. And that's where this little bitty nozzle on here comes in real handy. All right, so I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to try to, okay, or I'm just going to drop it, you know, whatever. Jesus. Come on, work with me here. Work with me. You're not working with me. Struggles. All right, there we go. Oh, God, what it would be like to be coordinated, you know? Okay, there we go. That's more or less on top of each other correctly. No thanks to me. But, you know, that's where this little thing comes in handy too. Because these are for like doing sequins and things like that where you have to move them around. So, all right, let's do, oh, let me see a little bit of crooked. And since it's cardstock, I mean, once it's stuck down, it's kind of stuck down. It's not thick enough for you to be able to maneuver it much. So yeah, my advice is pay close attention to when you put it down the first time, right? Okay, so we've got this one, and we're putting glue on it. Oh, those keys are going to be interesting. Oh, yeah. I'm going to mess those up, aren't I? So if you can straighten it before you press it down, you know, that seems to be the best way. Okay, I think that's fairly straight. It's as straight as it's getting. Okay, that's so cute. All right, so that looks pretty good. So we got that one there. And then we're going to go for piece number 3. And we're going to cut this free. And it's nice because it's got, you know, you can line the keyholes up. So it does kind of help the squares. Ironically enough, the ones that you would think would be the easiest to line up are the ones I have more trouble with. Because there's nothing else to compare against. So at the angle I'm at, it looks straight until I pick it up and I'm like, oh, what's this about? All right, so got the glue going on there. Same thing. Okay, that one looks pretty straight from the beginning, so I'm going to smush that one together. Why chance it, right? Okay, so there we go. So there are our 3 main pieces of of the lock. So this is going to be the back, this is the middle, and this is the top. So as you can imagine, we are now going to put the back onto the middle in the same way. And it's great because it gives you like the 3D, because, you know, the part that goes on the top, which I'm sure has a name, and I don't know what that is, but you know, this business that hooks onto the stuff. Yeah, how's that for specific, huh? Hope y'all enjoyed that. Anyway, it's not going to necessarily be as wide, you know, as the rest of it. So this gives it more of that realistic appearance from the side, which I think is really cool. All right, and then we will put the top on this. And same thing. Oops. It's getting a little heavier, obviously, because it's more layers of paper, but that also means I can kind of manipulate it a bit better as well. All right, so we are on there. And then this one didn't do it as bad, but the other one, since I put, you know, glue all over the whole surface of the flat thing and it had the keyhole in there, I'm just taking this and I'm getting any excess glue out of the keyhole as well. So bring this up so you can see. Ta-da! And see if you turn on its side. Now it's going to look better once it's painted, obviously, but you know, it's got the locking part is nice and thin, and it's in the middle. All right, this ought to be good. Let's do the key. Oh Lord, yeah. And these are very, very delicate. So I don't think I'm going to slice so much as I'm going to press down, I think. Just so I don't rip them, because they're super cute and I want them. Okay, so there's one. This reminds me of the ones that I did. Oh, who was that? Oh, I can't even remember. Heather Tracy from Thicketworks. Yeah, the ones where it was the dinnerware and the cups and the plates and stuff. And the dinnerware was like this. It's just these little teensy tiny pieces, and man, they look really cool when you get them together. All right, so there we go. We've got our keys. So let's make sure everybody's facing the same direction. That's going to be number 1. And I can tell you that they currently are not. Fine, be that way. That's the one that kind of flipped over backwards anyway. Okay, so we're going to start with this one. And we will hold it down here. And get glue on here. I mean, am I going to be able to spread the glue completely evenly? No. That's definitely not happening. Oh, shit. I mean, oops. Okay. Pick it up before I press down too hard on it and pass the point of no return. Kind of see if I can square these up a bit. There we go. Okay, that's as square as that's getting, I can tell you that. All right. There's one. Oh, maybe this is why I make everything too large, right? And part of it is I just have trouble seeing it. So, all right. So you stay down. Did I just do what I think I did? I did. All right. Let's do that again. Oh. All right. Got the glue on here. And you know what, let's just let it stay right there on my fingernail for the moment. And then do that. Yeah, these are real tricky to line up. And I've probably got my hand in the way so you can't see, but it's not too bad. I wouldn't do that too terrible. You can kind of see a little bit. I don't know how in focus that is, but you can see a little bit where, yeah, I went over just a teensiest bit, but we do have one more. Ha ha ha. The adventure continues. Okay. Let's cut this one free. And this one. Yeah, these are super cute, and I can imagine, yeah, if you tried to do these out of, say, chipboard, because they're so delicate, and just cutting them, you would probably kill them, you know, just getting these little tabs off. All right, so there we go. We got 3 keys. Let's get everybody going in the same direction. Can we? I hope so. Wrong thing. Okay. Going that way, and this way. Whee! All right, there. Okay. Now let's get this one glued down. So what I'll do is, you know, as entertaining as it may be if you are a sadist, to watch me, you know, struggle with this. When I get these ones done, I'll go ahead and do the other ones off camera. And then we'll join up at the end once they're done so we can paint them and make them look pretty. Oh, look at that. Much better. Hopefully I'm not going too far. I'm not used to having the camera this far down. But I figure there's no way at my normal, you know, focal length way up there that you're going to see what the heck I'm doing. So what would be the point, right? Oh, it's like tiddlywinks. Seriously, stay. You are misbehaving. All right, got the glue on there. And I think that's the thing that keeps it stuck down extra well is the fact that, you know, I need it to be able to move because I put it down wrong, and so it's going to be stuck nice and firm. Because like, yeah, nope, sorry. No mercy for you. Okay, here we go. All right, so there we have it, and that was, you know, nice and quick too. I have a feeling I'm going to probably end up sanding these a little bit or something. And now them being cardstock and being very delicate, I think I might use the super glue trick. So I'll check my super glue and make sure it's still, the liquid super glue, make sure it's still alive after I get these done. And if it is, I will show you a way to make these nice and strong and firm using super glue. It is definitely not something for children, and you do have to be very careful with it because, duh, it's super glue. So yeah. All right, I will do these ones and then I will come back to you in just a minute. All right, so miraculously, I didn't completely destroy any of it. and I actually had a little easier of a time of it, you know, having it right next to me, obviously. So that definitely did help. So I went and took a look at my super glue, and this is the kind it is, okay? It's Star Bond super fast thin super glue. This stuff is very, very thin. It's like water, the consistency of water. And so here's the top. The part you see sticking out was the rest of the top. I don't know what the heck happened there, and it's had like a crack down here. So needless to say, this is shot, but it's fine because I was going to put it in something else, and I did. So what I have this in is this. So this is a very, very, very fine precision tip. It's actually more like a hypodermic needle style tip. I mean, you can't even really see it hardly, see, for it. And this is how it comes. I got them on Amazon. I got like 2 or 3 of them in a package for like, I don't know, $6 or so. The nozzle will clog on those for sure. Heather Tracy has a way that she does it involving a lighter that I'm not going to pass along because it's terrifying. I did it once and I'm like, I don't think I'm going to do that again because that, it was scary. But so what we're going to do is, and I've kind of had to pull the camera up a little bit, so I may be able to zoom in or whatnot, but we're going to take this super glue and we're going to saturate these pieces with it. And so what that does is it adds a lot of strength to the piece. And if you didn't glue something down perfect, believe me, it'll be glued when you're done. So we're going to do that, but you have to be very, 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 very careful with it. So this is not something for kids to do. This is something for adults to do. And even adults, this is the kind of stuff that will bond very, very, very quickly. So if I were to say, spill it on my hand, and my hand was like this, if I wait more than a second or two to go like this, I'm taking skin either from this finger or this finger when I pull them apart. So that's the horror stories where people have to go to the emergency room. It's this kind of super glue, so be careful. And it does generate a lot of heat. So if I were doing something large, which did happen to me with the captain's desk, is how I did that one, you know, it's generating this heat. It actually smoked. I was like, wait, what? What's going on with that? That's kind of scary. So key is we're going to keep our fingers away from it. I'm going to use this, or you can use the ever-present pokey tool. That works as well. Actually, I might use pokey tool instead. Well, no, 6 of 1. They're the same thing basically, but this could melt. So let's go ahead and use this one. And you're going to hold it down with this, and you're just going to kind of saturate it. When you do, you want to obviously be on some kind of surface that you can remove it from it, you know. So either a non-stick, something. I have a glass mat. It's going to fog the heck out of it. This is where we did the bottles, so you can see where it fogs that. I just have to scrape this off, but so that's what we're going to do. So we're going to take this off of here, make sure this is nice and tight, because that's the first mistake I made when I did it the very first time. And I'm going to take this little key here, and I'm ever so gently going to tip this, and I'm going to squeeze. And you can see the drops as they saturate it. And I'm going to move it because now it's in this pool of super glue. If I don't move it out of that pool of super glue, it's going to live there forever and ever and ever. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of keep moving it along a little bit. Usually when I do this, it's to much larger things. So there's not as much danger of that, but let's drag you over here. And we'll do the same thing with this. And the nice thing is once this dries, then we can sand it and we can do all sorts of stuff. It's going to make it a lot stronger than just the chipboard or just the cardstock will kind of chase it around. So I'm going to put this on fast forward while I get the rest of these, and we'll see. You'll know if we go along and all of a sudden, you know, like this guy here, don't you dare. Once it evaporates and it dries, you're good, but yeah, you do have to kind of watch it for a minute, otherwise you'll be scraping that off of there and you don't get to have the cool little key. So. Right, so there we go. So we got the pieces saturated with super glue. With the locks, since they're very thick, it's important to get both sides of it, and then you want to get the edges as well. The keys, there's only 3 layers. So, I mean, with a couple of them, whilst I was saturating them, it ended up being a pool of it, and so it was getting the back at the same time, but I went ahead and made sure they were done anyway. And yeah, you got to keep kind of moving them around, because see, that's what super glue does to glass. So I will let these dry completely before we go to our next step, which is going to be to paint them. And I'm going to go ahead and clean this because it's all weird now and it's going to bug me. So I will see you guys back in a minute. Right, so this is cleaned up a bit anyway, and these are nice and dry. So when you do put the super glue on there, let me see if I can bring some of these up. It's just so hard to necessarily show you, but you'll see there's some little rough edge things to it. You know, it will do that, so it's always a good idea to sand them. So these I'm going to do very, very carefully. And so when you're dealing with something that's small, obviously you need to be very careful with it. So you can either use a sanding block. So I get these sanding sponge things at, you know, wherever, Home Depot, Lowe's. The problem with them is they don't last forever, right? But Fabri-Tac plus sandpaper means everlasting sanding sponge business. So as soon as this gets, you know, where it's just not doing anything anymore, I tear it off and I grab another piece of sandpaper and I glue it to it, and it works just brilliantly. But let's see, let's lay this down. And so I'm just going to go with this kind of stuff. You always want to go in one direction, because if you go back and forth, you're going to round your corners off. So you can also use an emery board for them. So same kind of thing. You just want to take it in one direction. Sanding block was working better though. And I'm just going to do the edges because, you know, you may not be able to see it. You can feel it for sure. But once you paint it, you will totally be able to see it. So I'm just going to do the edges of the locks themselves. But yeah, this is nice and strong now. Plus it hides the fact that, you know, God forbid I get it completely straight. This one's tricky because this is rounded, but Same kind of thing. I'm just going to kind of swoop this way, and I'm not doing a ton of sanding, obviously. I just want to kind of knock it back a little bit. Just a tiny bit on the locking mechanism. There. Same with this one. One direction. This is a fairly fine grade sandpaper. I didn't get the rough stuff because I would like to, you know, do this 3 times and look and still have part of my piece left. That'd be fun. But that'll help with the edges there. And then these are definitely kind of more of an emery board territory, and it's just on this back part because, you know, I'm not good with cutting things out. Apparently I swapped out craft knives when I did the other ones, and it helped quite a bit, but I just kind of want to get rid of that extra paper there that I didn't do a good job of getting rid of originally. And then like this is the one that stuck to the glass that I had to get the palette knife to remove. And it was stuck pretty good too. But again, that's why I'm doing this on glass, because it's a lot more forgiving. You know, if you try to do this on paper or something else, you know, you're going to take a lot of the substrate with it, or you're going to take a layer of paper off or something. So make sure these are nice and straight, because that one did get a little warped from its emergency extraction with the palette knife. So just kind of bend it this way. But yeah, this stuff makes them. Oh, and this one, yeah, I want to go on the surface of this because it did kind of crystallizes a little bit, right? But this makes them really, really strong. So you can do this. If I hadn't done this, I wouldn't chance going anywhere near this with sandpaper or a nail file or anything like that. So again, Heather Tracy at Thicketworks, this is a technique that she uses with her stuff. So she has, if you want to learn about how to do this and the best way to do it, safest way to do it, etc., that's your girl. So I'll link her as well. She's fantabulous. And she does like most of her furniture that way, and you can get away with using a lightweight chipboard or even multiple layers of cardstock and making something very, very strong out of it by using this technique. So, okay, I think I'm not going to press my luck with those anymore. So now we're going to want to paint these because we want to make these look like metal. So I am going to put them on here, and these again are the instructions, which are very, very, very good. You can tell that Eric comes from some sort of a technical kind of a background. I think she did architecture or something, because of how thorough the instructions are, and she's definitely had some teaching experience because of how thorough the instructions are, and they're very easy to read. So I absolutely love that, as opposed to what you usually get, which is, you know, nothing with a lot of things, which is, I mean, yeah, I guess it should be common sense. I don't know. I would rather have instructions. You know, so I do it right, especially if it's a kit and it's not cheap, you know. All right, so we're going to paint these, and so I'm using my heavy gesso. I still haven't replaced the jar of it, so we'll see how well it feels like working, but you know, I'm going to paint these metallic, and in order to have it look like actual metal, it pops a lot better from black than it does if you just leave it, you know, its natural color. I'm going to set that down on there. It'll probably stick. And the other part that you didn't see, so like this one here and that one there, you had 2 options for that top one. So like the top one where it's 2 pieces that you glue together, there was a fancy one with the rivet holes or sunken screws or whatever they are, which of course that's the one I picked because it's fancy, or you could just have it plain. So I think that's really cool. She's got a bunch of things like that in her kits. I think it was I was watching the haul, you know, like the bench kind of thing that you would sit down at to put your shoes on, especially if you live in like the Northeast or something. And I forget what it's called because I don't have one, but that one you could either have the back of it be grooved or not. I mean, it's just genius how she put the little details in there to give you a choice. A lot of the kits don't give you a choice, so gotta love that. All right, so I'm going to fast forward while I get these all gessoed up. So I'm really going to try for this video not to be 17 hours, but it's probably going to be. Okay, so as I'm sure you absolutely can't see because I've painted these with black gesso and they are now on a black cutting mat, these have been painted. So I give those a few minutes, let them dry. It doesn't take very long. And then we will start painting them in the metallic colors. Actually, no, you know what? We're going to wait. So we're going to let these dry and we're going to work on the chest because I do want to do a rust texture on these as well. And then we can do it in the chain at the same time, but we're going to need to know how much chain we need, right? So, yeah, so I'll catch you guys back in just a few minutes and we will get to work on the actual crate. All right, so as should be no surprise, I've taken something relatively simple and turned it into a big, long mini-series. Just is what it is, you know. So we have finished the assembly of the locks and the keys from the kit. So in the next video, we're actually going to start making the crate for it. So I will see you in part 2 then. Hej med mischief. Bye.